going live.
Hello, and welcome everyone to our DeFi investment and go-to-market strategies on the bear market. It's a line meetup of key opinion leaders among Launchpads, organized today by AlphaGuilty. I'm Maria Vovchok. I'm ambassador at Blockchain Association of Ukraine. Really excited to be here. Today I'll be your host. I'm really excited already to have some of our key opinion leaders already. We'll start very shortly with their presentations, but before, a few words why this meetup is important, why there's like a lot of significant insights you may gain from that, and a few words about the organizers, because AlphaGuilty is one of the right now very interesting, I would say, like from my perspective, as I could see companies which is rising, taking into account the partnerships that they're offering. AlphaGuilty, for those of you who still don't know, is a pay-for-allocation multi-chain launcher with sophisticated mechanism based on the proof of allocation method. Applying for the pre-sale has never been so easy. No lottery, no whitelist, no gleam, just plain allocation based on tiers. For projects, AlphaGuilty offers a convenient launchpad on a turnkey basis, including multi-packages of pre-sale, community analytics, and integrated secondary market with boosters. So I'll tell you, especially if you are like a lot of, as I mentioned earlier, as I already saw, the companies has already really interesting partnerships. About this, I would like gladly today ask the founder, the CEO of AlphaGuilty, Mikhailo Sitalo, is here today with us. If I may ask you just a few words about accompanying as well, and as well about the significance of today's meetup. Mikhailo, if you can hear me, please,
Yep,
you're here with us,
absolutely.
right?
Yep. Hi,
Thank
guys.
you so
First
much
of
for
all,
joining.
yeah, thank you for hosting this event and letting me also express a couple of my thoughts. And yeah, it's a pleased to be here. Hi, guys. Yeah, so regarding the company, regarding the company, you've described it pretty much good. So that's exactly what we are doing, a multi-chain launcher. And the importance of this conference is seems to me huge, because that's exactly the moment where people build in their wealth during the bear market. So you can ask whatever investors that made money on crypto actually on the previous cycles, they started the investments, particularly at this time when it's bear market, the prices are plummeting on the major crypto assets and all that stuff. So at the moment we are hosting this conference to let our community and our investors, basically our community, to feel better maybe in this market and to maybe pick up some interesting thoughts and ideas for their investment portfolios, for their personal wealth, what to do with this. So yeah, I think that this conference will be useful for those.
For sure. Thank you so much, Mikhailo, for hosting this event. And I'll tell you additionally, by the way, we already received like quite a lot of interesting, like as I was looking through the list of questions from our audience. But first of all, we really appreciate all of your questions. Maybe not all of them, of course, because of the lack of the time, we won't be able to ask our key opinion leaders, although we'll definitely figure out and we'll categorize them. So I think probably everyone will get the answer to your question. This is one thing. So, but also additionally, what I really would like to ask everyone who has joined us already for our live meeting is please be aware that you still can ask some questions. We might have already as well, if we will get some additional really relevant questions regarding our event, regarding the presentation, because our speakers are going to have today 5 top, very interesting, insightful presentations as well. And additionally, you're going to have a chance to ask them. I will ask them myself as far as I'm a journalist, so I'll have a lot of questions to our speakers as well. We're going to have a very exciting panel, which Q&A session, to be exact. And you're going to have a chance to ask we're going to ask a question which was already, you gave us the list of questions, or I'll have some questions to our audience, or somebody who's watching us right now live, you can actually ask those questions. We will definitely discuss the bear market like in more detail just a bit later, but just quick question, Mikhail. When you're like observing, this is definitely the truth when they say about the bear market. This is actually the time when you have to, like, it's better to invest. And for developers, as I can hear from different projects, it's the time to build. So whenever you actually enter this space right now with your team, with your company, was it like the time for you, you understood that this is the time like to get on board more projects, or this is the time to build? So is it both for you? How is it with you in this case?
Yeah, that's a good question actually, and I have like a financial background, and I was in a traditional market in the recent times. But then I saw this actual opportunity in crypto market exactly when it started dipping, and exactly when I understood that this is the time when you build, when there is not much hype, and the only like true projects will get into the market and will prosper and succeed in the future. So I switched like full time to this market to build with my team. Of course, we have some struggles at the moment because there are not much of attention for the crypto and all that stuff. But I think it's survivable, and in the near future, actually the decision I hope was good to switch from like traditional finance to the crypto. The bear market is actually was a sign to me to get into this. So because I was like observing crypto for a long time, and I was kind of like observing it, but this time I decided to go on the full swing here.
And by the way, it's really interesting when you're actually building this bridge between TradFi and DeFi, because like, you know, this is one of the additional topics which I believe you in the future definitely need to organize another meetup, because this will take like, I think 4 hours, and a lot of people would be willing actually to share their experience as well in the sphere who actually relocated, I would say, from traditional finance to DeFi in this case. But also, let me ask you about AlphaGuilty, a quick question, because you're actually onboarding, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of NFT projects. So when we're talking about NFTs, there were a lot of like debates. Like this year specifically, like even the previous year has become the year of NFTs. And there is, as you mentioned, like the hype is dwindling, we can say right now. So there will be like something more coming. What do you see, which might be upcoming? Here we're still not talking about the, like, let's say the trends in the market that AlphaGuilty in this case is trying to definitely follow, and is trying in this case to embark on probably as well.
Yeah, also a good question. So yeah, you're right regarding the NFTs. We are onboarding NFT projects, but besides NFTs, we also onboarded like regular tokens and basically any kind of blockchain asset on any chain. Basically, at the moment, EVM-based chains. So we also incorporated recently Solana. We're working on near. So we do all that stuff just for a particular reason. To not miss the future trend, because of course we don't know what the future is, what the future trend will be, but we are preparing ourselves to be ready to launch the future trends, right? So we are ready basically to launch any of the kind of the blockchain assets. So whatever trend will be, we'll be ready for it.
By the way, thank you for these words. I actually want to say that I'm going to host very soon, like at one of the conferences, a panel. We are going to talk about layer 1, layer 2 solutions in this case. And Nir will be present there as well. I'm not sure that Solana will join, but this is a very, very important that from my side, as how I'm learning this space and I'm learning about different projects, I may say that definitely the future is behind the multi-chain projects, like from my perspective, taking into account how many blockchain projects are out there as well. So please guys, be aware, visit the website by AlphaGuilty, check out, because they're actually offering really interesting offers for projects, because in this case, projects can apply for listing in a few clicks, connect their built-in engagement mechanism to boost user acquisition and retention, and use the AlphaGuilty secondary market. It will be very soon. You will be also able to increase brand awareness via multi-package pre-sales, strengthen token price thanks to the AlphaGuilty real audience without bots and apes, and get quality marketing campaigns. About all of this, definitely ask Mikhailo, like indirect. By the way, you can find you can follow the links, probably you can find online meetup. You can definitely also see the list of our today's speakers, our key opinion leaders, you can definitely, and I'm like even like advising you to visit their LinkedIn page. And in that case, you can also directly ask them these questions. But also, as I mentioned to you earlier, you have today a really great chance to ask them questions live, and definitely do that. We already, as I mentioned, we have already a couple of questions for you earlier, but in this case, I believe it will be even much more interesting to get some insights and to ask questions our key opinion leaders at our meetups today. So coming back, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to discuss it a bit later when we're going to have a Q&A session. Right now, I'm so excited to start with our list of presentations because they're like so interesting. And I was looking through the list and through the list of our speakers, and I through the list the topics that they're going to tell us and discuss and tell us more and develop on those. We definitely should be very attentive. So please welcome right now our first speaker, Lynn Nguyen, Head of Partnership at Rosson World. She's going to tell us how to benefit from your partners on a bear market. Lynn, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. I actually want to, I would tell you like the topic of your presentation is really exciting, and I'm sure that it really will be beneficial from our audience. So please, whenever you have questions to Lynn, we definitely will going to ask her this, but also listen attentively. So Lynn, the floor is yours. Thank you so much for joining. Let's start. Let's begin.
Okay, thank you, Samia. Yes, okay. So hi, everyone. I'm Lynn. I'm head of partnerships at Rosson, and I have been working with Rosson for more than a year now. And my role is to bring in GameFi and Metaverse and NFT partnerships for Rosson. And it's an honor to be here today. And thank you, AlphaGuilty, so much for the opportunity. But before I start, Rosson, in a nutshell, is a one-stop mobile-first crypto earning app with Launchpad, yield farming, and play-to-earn games. We also have swaps that connect to PancakeSwap and Bridge that connects to Seller. And so far, we have launched 30 projects and formed more than 60 partnerships with different projects. And the majority of them are GameFi, NFT, and Metaverse projects. And we all know that the partnership is crucial to the growth of any business venture. And 85% of business owners believe partnerships are necessary for success. But in theory, the idea of partnering with another business is exciting. However, your organization will need to learn how to collaborate with other companies successfully, right? And I think the key things here we need to know before we form any partnerships is that it should be based on trust and respect. A brand alignment and similar values and shared goals so that it can benefit both sides. And with that being said, I think these are how you should benefit from any partners. Okay, so firstly, regardless of how good you are, a business has strategies and activities aimed at acquiring new customers, right? And any businesses without new customers get diminishing profits, and that is why all struggle to get more customers. And if you are looking to boost your revenue and grow your customer base, partnering with other business for promotions and events is a great way to do it. And you will maximize your brand power, double your network reach, and increase the amount of capital that you can throw at the promotion. And learning how to collaborate with other businesses in cross-promotional events is very helpful. So that's what I'm thinking. So in brief, leverage your partner's platform. That's what the partnership is all about, right? Just tapping into each other's resources to increase revenue. Okay, so that's the first point. And secondly, your partner's network can also help your project expose to new markets. Okay, so by expanding to new markets, companies drive their production and thus lower their cost per unit. And this occurs because, costs are spread out over a wider number of goods and services. And with economies of scale, the larger the business, the greater the cost savings, I believe. But to enter a totally new market, apart from determining your goals, you need to research the new market, right? Keep an eye on your competition and competitors, and decide how you want to enter the market. And this can be much easier if you have a local partner who understands deeply the market's reaction towards a business, which saves you a lot of time and a lot of initial effort. Right. Okay. And thirdly, I think this point will link to the first and second points that I just shared earlier. And so for a business, you acquire users, you enter a new markets and acquire more users. But then most importantly is how to keep them, right? And I think the key point here is to stay connected to them and add more values to them, because connected customers tend to become repeat customers, and repeat customers are vital to business success. And you may start creating value for your customers with co-branded offers, and as a partner you can choose a company that complements your brand. And for example, certain crypto users can get higher fee discount if buying NFTs on the partner's marketplace, for example. And if you propose relevant services with this collaboration, customers will feel like their needs and care about providing excellent service, right? And then fourthly, brand awareness and brand trust building are one of the benefits you can leverage from a partnership. And just look at how Uber and Spotify do co-branding. They've created a soundtrack for your ride, and this is a great example of a co-branding partnership between two very different products with very similar goals, is to earn more users. And here's how it works, right? So when riders are waiting for an Uber ride, they are prompted to connect with Spotify and become the DJ of the trip. So users can choose from their old playlist to determine what they listen to. And I think this is very smart, right? And this co-branding partnership helps fans of Uber and Spotify alike enjoy better the experiences thanks to the app, and they might be more interested in picking Uber and Spotify over competitors, knowing they can enjoy the next ride listening to their favorite music, right? And so I think co-branding is a strategic marketing and advertising partnership between two brands, wherein the success of one brand brings success to its partner's brand too. So co-branding can be an effective way to build a business, boost awareness, and break into new market. And for a partnership to truly work, it has to be a win-win for all players in the game. And Uber and Spotify are traditional businesses, but we can learn from what they do and how successful they are. And I believe the idea can be totally applied to any crypto startups, right? And there are various ways to benefit from your partners, and each company would have various needs. But we believe those are the four main benefits from any partnerships you form. But it will include, but not limited to, some other added values, such as knowledge sharing, partnerships referral, networking, or sales support, or even hiring, right? And at Rosion, we're always, open to partnerships and more than happy to support them at our best. And this is the bear market, but please remember that it won't last. No bull market endures forever, neither does a bear, right? And look back at the history. The market's upward movement has tended to prevail over the declines long term. So I think just be patient and take advantage of it, and startups can grow without the need to meet unrealistic expectation or hit rapid growth milestones at the moment. And builders can focus on better products and delivering real value to the industry, so they are better positioned for the next upswing. And acquiring partnerships will share goals, and when the time comes, just all benefits. And yeah, so far we form a lot of partnerships, and we're not going to stop doing that, especially during this time. And I just want to share with you very interesting news about Rosion is we have selected to be the top 10 stars on BNB Chain Accelerator program. And yeah, thank you so much.
Lynn, thank you so much, by the way, for your insights. And just quick question, if you wouldn't mind, because you've had really interesting examples, like, for example, with Uber and Spotify. From your perspective, when you're talking about Rosion World, how do you, in this case, like, analyze the market, and how do you see with which companies, like, you would definitely want to do co-branding, and how do you analyze first, and how do you reach out for collaboration? I'm really interested to hear about that as well.
Okay. So for the project, because we are a Launchpad and we are a staking platform, so we would love and right now we want to focus more on NFT. So we would love to work with NFT projects and to choose the projects to form partnerships with. We usually look at the team and look at how they build a community, because to us we are community driven, and we want to share knowledge between the communities. And of course, when the team works together, you want to add more values to each other. And yeah, and that's why we're working on a lot of NFT collaboration with different projects. For example, we're gonna do a NFT sales with MetaStrike, which is one of our favorite partners, and also Nakamoto Games at the moment.
I see. A quick question. When you said, like, this is, by the way, interesting that when you analyze the team, how do you make sure that, like, the team, you work only with so-called docs teams, right? In this case.
Yeah.
So how do you, in this case, how do you chat with them? Because it's very important.
Okay, so we will look through their LinkedIn, and of course, I think Twitter is a very useful tool to look for projects and also reach out to projects and stuff. And
Which
but
one?
usually we will Twitter
and LinkedIn. Okay.
And LinkedIn. But then I think we believe that all professionals will will have a LinkedIn account, and just reach out to them on LinkedIn is the most effective way and useful way, I think.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lynn, for your presentation. By the way, everyone who's watching us right now, please, if you have questions to Lynn, prepare it. If you have it, like, just right now based on her presentation, definitely wait until our Q&A session, and we're going to proceed with that. So much so far. Thank you so much, Lynn. Please stay with us. We are moving forward to our next presentation. And again, I would like to invite here Mikhail Sitalo, who is the CEO at AlphaGuilty, because right now he's going to tell us more in detail about smart investment mechanics of tomorrow. Please give him a big hand. If everybody would hear me, probably you would give a big hand as well to our next speaker. So Mikhail, whenever you're ready, you may start.
Thank you. I'm just wanted to double check whether you can see my presentation.
Yes, Mikhail. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. So yeah, thanks. So I'll go briefly on what do the winners at the venture capital in general, including blockchain startups, do in their investments. So the first thing that I would like to enlighten a bit, it's startup statistics. It's probably not a surprise for anybody here, but 90% of startups fail, and 10% of the startups fail within the first year. So it's a pretty scary statistics to operate in this industry, actually, for investors, because the mathematical expectation is actually negative in this field. And across all industries, startup failure rates seem to be close to the same. So it means that whatever it's blockchain startup, medical startup, automotive, construction, whatever it is, the statistics are pretty close. So, but on the other side, there is some also interesting facts that encourages us to invest into new companies, because we can see that unicorns, that the companies that worth more than $1 billion, they're trending, and the rate of unicorns increased by 353% from 2013 to 2018, and the recent statistics is actually even more the startup industry is booming actually, and 82% of successful business owners, they admit that they have right qualification and backed by proper investors who give them the proper piece of advice in order to succeed in the field. So we can see that more and more people actually got qualified for the startup journey, and more and more people have the right, I don't know, they did the past relevant experiences that they can with which they can share with the newer generation, and in order to increase this rate even more of successful startups. And the main actually challenge in the success of a startup is actually generating new business. So that's why we can see that those unicorns and those who made it there actually a brand new startup that have new approaches to the market and new vision of the life, actually, of the world itself. So that's why probably NFTs and blockchain NFTs were booming recently, because this was a new way of seeing the community, of seeing the participation, of being a part of Web3 world. So we are operating basically in the blockchain industry. We're operating exactly in the industry of new things, of new vision, of new paradigm. So that increases our chances actually. And we also can see that founders who previously had successful businesses have 30% chance of the success of the next venture. So those statistics tells us that we actually can still find some cool ideas and have actually success within our investments if we will choose the proper, if we will do this properly with the proper investment thesis. And I would like now to say what are business side moves and what the professionals in the industry do for their portfolio and how to approach the investments. First of all, the first piece of advice is more relevant to retail investors. I assume our community and our viewers are. So the first piece of advice goes to you directly. So invest only the amount you can afford to lose. So that's the investment. If it's not your professional business that you do on a daily basis, you are part of the fund or whatever it is, just invest only the amount you can afford to lose. Please set up set aside, the money needed for your life, for for house, for mortgages, for whatever you have, and invest only the amount you can afford to lose so you can survive the downtrends. So you won't be rushed to sell whatever it is left from your investment. And we can see that the cycles are there. And whenever it's bear market, if you will wait a bit longer, you'll still get your nice returns. So this is the first advice. The second advice is to specialize on the industry or sector. So if you're investing within the blockchain space, focus on this. Don't go into other, don't go into real estate. Don't go into real estate, traditional finance or whatever it is. Specialize and get to know nuances of a particular industry and what makes the particular project profitable or not. And this will help you out drastically in your investment thesis, I would say, because on the market we can see lots of funds, but actually they have their specialization, a particular one. That's the reason for it. So the third advice to you will be that invest in the due diligence. It takes on average 87 days. It was a research by academics in the venture capital industry that it takes on average 87 days in order to close the deal, in order to do the due diligence process of a fund to invest in a particular startup. So that's also the reason for it. Get to know the founders, do some expert calls with if you're investing in the new startup that you don't understand the tweaks about their business model or something like that, get somebody who is expert in that, get into the conversation with that professional and get to know whether those solution is feasible or not. So that's what professionals do, and this greatly actually helps them out. Participate in the board of directors if you have an option. So this also will decrease your risk of investing in the startup if you can influence the decisions made by C-suite of a company, and negotiate price and terms that's also more of advice to more like wealthy individuals or who has some influence to negotiate, and that's what VC does all day long, every day on the daily basis. I mean, with the startups. And the last piece of advice is diversify. It's actually goes in the bit on contradiction with specialize on the industrial sector, but you can always buy like some index funds of other industries and don't bother with this, and diversify with the same industry. Say if you invest in layer ones, invest in layer two, invest in NFTs, invest in the DeFi projects, invest into some play to earn games, play to move, whatever it is. So that will actually, and also don't put all your money into a particular coin or a particular project on the private sale. Say there is something going on the private sale and ticket size is pretty high for your portfolio, and you have to like put there, I know, 80% of your total portfolio. Don't do that. It's better to have 20 investments with the lower ticket size. So don't go into full swing with one investment. And actually, if you'll guys get used to practicing all those moves and all those advices, you'll see a nice appreciation of your portfolio, I think, in the near future. That's what VCs do. That's what professional investors do. That's what basically any investment professional does in their daily life. And we also on our side has utilized all these principles and created a product for you, which is diversifiable, where we negotiated price and terms, where we did the proper due diligence and all that stuff. And actually, it will be coming soon on our platform. So diversified packages of pre-sales of crypto startups. So that's the thing where we will bundle 3, 4, 5 projects into the package and sell it as a whole, where we done our due diligence, did negotiate all the price and terms, and made it diverse and ready for your investment. But always do your own research, and good luck, guys, in your investments. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mikhailo, for your presentation. And by the way, before we move forward, I actually have a couple of questions regarding it, and especially I believe it's very actually valuable from the point of view, especially if you're already becoming like a angel investor. Like maybe not definitely you have to be credited, but I mean just in crypto space you can be just a private investor. Let's say it like this. So I used to as well work as investor relations manager with startups and VCs, and you actually made a pretty good point in the case that you, like when you said that you have to be on board of directors, especially if you made like you have like pretty like, I would say, solid investment in the project. But I'm also interested from the perspective of you, potential investor. So how do you think different VCs they just invest and they don't exactly eager to provide some support depending on the negotiation and terms discussed earlier. But if, for example, you already invested, how do you think shouldn't a VC or angel investor be like more involved in the process? How and let's say it like follow how the CEOs in the company is doing, how they're using your investments, or should they in that case like more involved, or like they just follow but not to be involved exactly by themselves?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's also a good question, and I think my personal view on that is investors do not have to go into the operations and the business models itself of a startup and let CEO and basically C-suite run the company, because that's the idea, that's their vision. I would say investors shouldn't interfere with their vision of the product, but they have to have control on changing sale. So, for example, if CEO is like leading the company nowhere, then they have to have the right to change it, but they do not have to right to actually like influence the operations and business model and whatever is going on with the startup itself. But changing the C-suite, they have to be capable of it, but not the small operations. That's my personal
What,
view.
for example, we're talking. Yeah, of course. All the time, everybody, by the way, among our leaders should and our speakers today should say, this is not financial investment advice. Just I'm just expressing my own use. These are my own, definitely. And this is what I understand. Everybody has their own use. Mikhailo, just quick question regarding this. What if, for example, we're talking about blockchain startups and the founders, they at some point, they want to change the tokenomics, or for example, the VC investor, he or she is urging them to change tokenomics. What do you think from this perspective? How how the CEO and the team should behave in that case?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty huge move within the startups. So it should be taken by board of directors, and all the major stakeholders should be involved in this negotiation process and the shaping process. So if everybody on board is fine with changing tokenomics, then it should be done, because I assume it's better for the stakeholders. It means better for the project, better for basically interested party in the particular project. But a CEO himself, cannot change anything without the approval of board of directors. This is a bold move, and it should be discussed with all the major stakeholders. So before, for example, we are talking about the situation when investor did invest already and CEO want to change the tokenomics. I think he has no right to do that without the consent of the stakeholder and approval by him.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mikhailo. By the way, again, our audience, I'm asking you, if whenever you have questions to Mikhailo's presentation, or or about the topics we're going to discuss during our Q&A session, please save those questions. We're definitely going to discuss a lot today, but the time is right now running, so we need to move forward to our next speaker. And I would like you to welcome here at our online meetup, Leon Lee, founder and CEO of Only One App. And he's going to tell us about how NFTs will change the creator economy due to bear market. Leon, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to say I'm really honored to be part of this panel here today. And I'll try not to talk about too much about my own project, but rather about the markets and the trends and some of these knowledge and experiences more, right? So a bit of background about myself. By the way, really great explanation of the markets just now, Mikhailo. So I'm the founder at Only One. I have a background in genetics engineering, and Only One, we started last year, approximately exactly 1 year ago, and we're backed by Alameda Research, Animoca Brands, and such. So we're basically Patreon on Web3, or sometimes I say OnlyFans on Web3, because I think people know that product a bit more than Patreon. We help creators make money. I'll keep it short. So first, maybe I should talk a bit about the bear market, which is, I believe, the main topic of today. And first of all, crypto has never endured a proper recession. And I'm not saying that we're in a proper recession, but it is something to be tested. And I'm personally quite excited to see how the crypto industry reacts to it. And I think that matters to everyone in this industry. Doesn't matter which chain you're on, doesn't matter you're in NFT or DeFi or infrastructure. And that obviously is reflected in the private investment sector as well. So if you're a VC, you're probably a bit more hands-off right now with investments. But there are quite a few factors that we must not forget when we look at the market trends, because obviously we talk about the 4-year cycle a lot and the halving, which happens around mid-2024. Personally, I'm still bullish on that event, but we also need to look at the war. We also need to look at inflation. We also need to look at the United States GDP growth. So these are factors that's never really played a part in the previous bull and bear market cycles of crypto. So I would just, like you said, Maria, not financial advice, but this is something that I would pay attention to when considering the market cycles. And also want to touch base on venture capital, because I think you guys were talking quite a lot about that earlier on. And I think there's one thing we should remember, especially as founders or even as a retail investor. how venture capital make money on the highest level within the industry. And by the way, I love them. They are obviously very experienced. They know their stuff, and they make money by writing short-term narratives, right? Let's put that in place first. So for example, they could just inject, hey, let's just get all the tier 1 VCs and put $400 million into this new ecosystem, Solana last year or BNB previous year, and now in Aptos, for example. And what they also do is, hey, let's put another $500 million into all these funds and have them invest into projects in these different ecosystems. So that way the ecosystem kind of becomes hyped and the projects involved all gets a pump and exchanges all follow on suit. So the problem with this model, right, obviously it's a very profitable model for the capitals, but what this happens is a lot of projects are backed and are funded basically and to build something, and a lot of the times the vesting schedule of these VCs are shorter than the time it takes to build these products. And that what that actually means is a lot of the times before a product reaches product market fit, the VCs probably have moved on to something else. So sometimes following the money doesn't mean the product trends have changed, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if I'm getting that point across. So yeah, that's my take on VCs. And for my business in particular, we're dealing a lot with NFTs. So we have an NFT Launchpad. Just a quick show of the user interface. So we have a lottery system Launchpad. We've launched 3 projects. We actually just did one last week, and we sold out oversubscribed by 333%, and the floor is now 5x from the mint price. I think it's decent in this bear market. And so NFT is something that we're trying to get more experience on and see where the trend is actually taking us. And the market moves really quickly. And I'm sure a lot of the audience now, you guys don't just invest into token markets, but also into NFTs. You don't just stake in staking pool, but you're also looking at NFT marketplaces, right? So I just want to keep the diversification of audience entertained here. And what I observe from my perspective, my humble opinion on NFTs is that the trends move even faster. If you look back just a few months, maybe September last year, NFT kind of just started booming with the Bored Ape Yacht Club, CryptoPunk, and all the other good ones back in the day. And most of the time, these NFTs existed as the pure form of digital collectibles. So you're buying the NFT because the community, because the NFT looks good, you want to use it as a PFP. That was the meta. And that was the trend. And when the bear market hit around, say, November, all the way till maybe the first quarter of this year, what we can observe is that a lot of these buyers of NFTs are starting to think, hey, these JPEGs are actually useless. Like, what am I really doing with them, right? So a lot of the NFT projects started to do utilities. They talk about roadmap. They talk about metaverses. They talk about play to earn games. They talk about staking, floor sweeps, all that good stuff. And so that was a trend for maybe a good half a year. And that also kind of backfired because a lot of these projects don't really deliver. And let's just be frank, a lot of them are slow rug pulls where most of the money for them are made on day one when the mint happens, and then why would they continue to build something if they don't see a profitability, right? So that's giving the retail investors kind of a different sentiment with NFTs. So now it's like people are talking about degen mints. It's like, fuck roadmap. I don't care about utility. I don't care about what you promise. I want to see a good community. I want to see a good artwork. So we're kind of back in square one, right? So I think that this is some really interesting trends we're seeing with NFTs now. And literally when people talk about roadmap, the comments below are like, no one cares about your roadmap. Like, just give us like a nice community and whatnot, right? So in a more broader picture, I think NFT market is still in somewhat of a bubble. And it's weird coming from me because I work with NFTs and I'm almost kind of bearish on this technology right now because I think NFTs can do so much more than just being a collectible where people have these, I don't want to call them pump and dump, but they do take advantage of people buying in the hype, right? So I think in the future, over the long run, NFT should be part of a product rather than being the product. So probably we're going to see real utility with NFTs in the future, where the product is the focus, not buying of the NFT. So that is my small prediction with NFTs in the coming few months. And one of the most looked into utilities of NFTs, right? Besides games, which is massive, as you guys probably know, in games, digital items, people really care about ownership. So if they ban your account, they can't take away your items. But the other aspect of NFTs, I personally think is going to be big, is in the creator economy. So I'm talking about content creators. I'm not talking about the Web3 projects making a collection to sell a bunch. The NFT existing as access to content creator is something that is growing, right? If we look at Gary Vaynerchuk, which is someone, he's a rock star in the tech space as well. And he created this collection called VFriends, and the VFriends NFT serves as an access to the creator, Gary. You can literally buy an NFT and go to the gym and work out with him, or have a phone call with him. So that type of access, I think, is going to become bigger and bigger within the NFT ecosystem. And however, if you want to make an NFT for yourself as a content creator, it's actually a lot of hassle, right? You have to hire engineers to make the NFTs, use a Launchpad, get on a marketplace, make a Twitter account, make a Discord, make a Matrica, some kind of DAO management tool. And for most content creator, that is basically impossible, unless you're like a tech geek or you're in Web3. So what we're trying to do at Only One, we're trying to make that process one stop, cheap and fast. Anyone can do it within minutes, for basically free. So that's what we're trying to do, to allow content creators to be able to make money using NFTs, instead of having people focus on maybe making another 10K collection mint, and then they just kind of slowly disappear into the void. So I think, I don't know if my 10 minutes is almost up, but maybe I should just finish off with some hopium, because I feel like what I just talked about are all kind of bearish. I'm of course very bullish on the crypto industry as a whole. And I feel like the next narrative that's going to take crypto to the next new heights, let's just use market cap, for example. I think the crypto market cap could easily go to 10 trillion within the next 5 years, right? And the driver to take us there, I think, is not going to be more projects, more layer ones, but rather mass adoption. And the single thing blocking us as an industry to arrive at the stage where we're ready for the average Joe on the street at 7-Eleven to buy something with crypto is infrastructure, right? The development of better bridges, better wallets, easier to use credit card payments, off-ramp, on-ramp, all that good stuff, the multi-chain future, I think is going to be very vital to actually take us to the next level. And when I say mass adoption, I'm talking about end consumer applications that actually solve a real problem, right? Michaelo just talked about venture capitals and startups and products. I think that is really the focus for what startups should be doing, rather than focusing on pumping a token or make a new listing on Huobi or get on Binance, right? I think what's important is really making a product that people use and solves a real problem. So I feel like that's going to be the next big thing. And yeah, I guess LFG, that's, I think, all I wanted to share right now.
Thank you, Leon, for your presentation. And by the way, just quick question before we move forward. I recently actually read on your LinkedIn your article about different types of NFTs, and when you said that there are short hype, there are brands, and there are utility NFTs. So actually, when you said about the utility, I definitely support that. There is like I'm more accustomed to more utility NFTs. But also, quick question as you definitely, I think you can actually advise this because occasionally I'm getting these questions from NFT artists, like say it like from artists who want to mint an NFT on their picture, on their like what they provided, or sometimes that's not exactly a picture. But anyway, so but here is very important, as you said, sometimes the founders of NFT marketplace, they can actually ban your account and take the NFTs. Did I hear that correctly, as you said earlier?
Okay, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. So the only question is how to, for artists who want to mint NFTs, how they should carefully choose the NFT marketplaces, because I saw myself how some of the NFT marketplaces, they are trying to put it better, to create a new NFT marketplace, which almost resembles a famous one. So in that case, they somebody by mistake, an artist would mint an NFT on their platform. But the question is, there might be some issues later on, I believe, with their NFTs on this marketplace. It can disappear the other day. What would your piece of advice would be for those artists who are, for example, are not famous as of yet, but they just want somehow really to earn and creating NFTs on their masterpieces?
Okay,
let's see.
So three things to consider. Number one, the cheesy saying is not your key, not your fund, right? Like when you're talking about people taking away your NFT, I think you're referring to a custodial wallet-based platform. So if you are buying an NFT without using your own wallet and your own private key and seed phrases, then yes, there is a real chance that your assets can be confiscated or lost or hacked in any way because of the platform, but not because of you, right? So I would urge creators to actually learn the basics of crypto and definitely manage the security of your wallets very carefully. And this happens across many different chains where wallets are actually not safe too. So definitely invest into a hardware wallet as well, right? Like recently on Solana, we're on the Solana ecosystem, by the way. There's this wallet called Slope. I mean, they did a great job, except this one thing where they use a third-party library within their code base, and they actually passed on your seed phrases to a third unknown party. And then a lot of people got their wallets drained. So that was a very unfortunate event. My team got affected too. So definitely be careful. Sorry, I forgot your other question.
So piece of advice how for NFT artists. Yes.
Okay, there you go. So the second thing is, as an NFT artist, you also want to think about what this NFT is meant to be, right? So for quote unquote utility NFTs, which are supposed to be part of a product, then I think you're not exactly minting it. You're usually just using a platform. For example, you might be playing Axie Infinity or StepN, and then you would buy a shoe or an Axie Monster, right? So that's one thing. But if you're minting your own, you might want to think about, oh, am I just minting my daily pictures as like a collection to sell to people? Then my question would be, why would they buy your cup of a coffee? Like, why would I buy a picture of you drinking coffee, right? Like, I don't want to collect that. But if you want to make something of value, then you must think about the buyer sentiment as well. Like, okay, I'm making this collection. It's meant to be scarce. It's meant to be a form of access to myself as the creator. I have my fan base who wants to get in touch with me. That's something I would say people should consider. So point number 3 about choosing a marketplace. Now, a case in point here is we, other than Launchpad, we have a marketplace as well. But after the mint of the recent NFT, I actually told them to go to Magic Eden because our marketplace is not ready. It's still work in progress. The reason I say that is because when you're choosing a marketplace, I think marketplace is really a winner takes all game, right? It's kind of like an exchange. You can go to a different Launchpad, but when you're trading NFTs, you want to go to a place where there's trading volume. And usually trading volume is something that the top 2 or 3 exchanges would take up 90% of the whole volume of the entire market. So as an artist, if you're putting your NFT for sale, I would go for a marketplace that has the most volume in whichever ecosystem you're in. So I'm actually not too sure about BNB. Maybe you guys can share more lights there. But for Solana, it's going to be Magic Eden. For ETH, it is still OpenSea, but it could become Magic Eden soon as well. So yeah, I think that's simple.
Thank you so much, Leon. Definitely, whenever you have questions as well for him, please prepare for our Q&A session. We are moving forward, and right now, please welcome at our online meetup, Berker Zor, business developer at Babylons. He's going to talk about safety guidelines of Launchpads could damage the ecosystem, in the long run. Please be attentive and give him a big hand again on your side. Berker, are you here? Are you with us? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right,
whenever you're ready, we may start.
Okay, I can start. So I think my topic is a bit too specific, and it might be a bit shorter probably. So I really wanted to talk about a recent trend in Launchpads regarding what I will call safety measures or safety guidelines, but which culminates into like endless rounds of refunds on public raises, which is something we've seen in the last month, maybe month and a half, with a lot of launchpads successively publishing their guidelines. But there are two schools of thought here. One is real concrete price protection, which is if the price falls below such and such number, which is probably like, so let's say 80% of ideal price, we will then be initiating a retroactive refund of the tokens, etc., etc. The other school is what we try to do at Babylon's, which is price agnostic and which really focuses on the roadmap, the development of the project, which is really a way to protect your community from like slow rug pulls, abandoned projects, and things like that more than anything else. So what I have been seeing, and which is something we had seen at the start of this, is that I believe this is going to be creating a death spiral in the Launchpad business and in public raises, which is something we've seen. I think the last 3 IDOs that we did were refunded by at least one Launchpad, which was based on the price. And this kind of creates a cycle of people expecting the refunds and sort of like quasi shorting the token on a DEX in a way, because people sell it and buy it later at a lower price to refund it, etc., etc. And I believe this is such a problematic issue because it is very detrimental to projects. If your launch goes a certain way, then you lose all your funding. You get really bad marketing. You really get bad sentiment surrounding your project. And this also creates a funnel effect of it. In the end, it takes money from VCs and transfers it to the public, which is in name only a great thing. And I'm always supportive of like Robin Hood-esque movements like this. But the problem is we see that the VCs and the investment firms are less and less likely and less enthusiastic about their investments as well. So which dries up the well in terms of like new projects looking for investments, funding, and everything. We also have an advisory service where we try to connect new and exciting projects with funding and like VCs, groups of investors, and things like that. And we've seen such a decline in investments in these last 2 months. So, which was something we have been expecting. In the end, this is a bear market and funding is harder to find. But I believe that this was expected probably, but this is a really detrimental problem in the short term and the long term as well. So that was what I wanted to talk about, and it was maybe a short presentation, a short speech, but I think it's something that needs to be talked about because I believe AlphaGuilty, we have a launchpad there. Gate also launches projects, and I'd like to hear their opinions on this as well, because I think this is something we have to start discussing about as an industry, and it merits a discussion.
Yeah, thank you, Barker. But also, sorry.
That was the crux of it. I was going to say.
Yeah, but also, can you please also like develop on just a bit a few words? So how you in this case should make sure that you can somehow try to omit these pitfalls? Like, what are the first steps you should do? Like, so in the long run, you would not like so we could like benefit. So we could do so the crypto ecosystem in this case would be still perceived like as a safer place. So we as a part of ecosystem, what we can do like in this case to help?
I mean, we'd have to have some sort of a regulatory body, I'd say, but not in a centralized way, but more as a set of principles But the problem here is that there are a lot of launchpads currently, and every day we see more launchpads being founded. So the industry itself is really competitive. So you have to have a way of like attracting investors to your platform, which wasn't the case, let's say 6-7 months ago, but right now it's really cutthroat. So the platforms themselves resort to it, and the problem also becomes that if one platform offers it, then you're at a disadvantage in the case that you don't. But I think more and more platforms have been seeing the problem with this logic, because in the end, launchpads are working on a commission basis, and if you refund everything, you also don't make any income. So I think the next step would be to create a set of principles and guidelines, which is hopefully price agnostic, but really touches on concrete developmental milestones in terms of the project's own roadmap, in terms of its engagement, in terms of its development, in terms stages of development, in terms of its alpha release, its beta release, like that. But as long as it remains price dependent, I think it's going to be creating a death spiral in the funding.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Berker Zor. Whenever you have questions for him, please prepare. We're going to have and proceed it during our Q&A session. We're moving forward to our last presentations for today. Please welcome on the stage today, like on our, I would say, online meetup stage, Mariela Tanches, who is the Global Head of Business Development at Gate.io crypto exchange. Mariela is going to talk about how to continue in crypto during bear market without risking your assets. Mariela, welcome. Can you hear me? Hi.
Sorry, guys, I was muted. Hi.
Hi, Mariela. How are you doing?
Good. How about you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. So the floor is yours. And after that, we're going to have Q&A session.
Sure. So yeah, today I want to tell people a little bit more about, how to keep using crypto during the bear market. Because obviously there's a lot of opportunities out there that people do not consider. So I wanted to expand a little bit more about it, right? So currently the market is obviously not very well. We all know it's kind of bearish. Hopefully we'll be getting out of it soon, but to be honest, there's no way for us to know, right? Until it happens and we get into the next bull run, we don't know what's going on, right? We did have this year the biggest drop in history. So this has people a little bit concerned. Should I go in? Should I not go in? But I think the people that we've been in this for years and years, we know the cycle, we're very calm. We know it's just part of it. And that this is not a time to panic, but actually to change strategies and be smart about it. So that's what I kind of want to share with you guys today, to kind of not panic and don't think that just because you cannot be doing day trading or making huge amounts of money, this is not the time for you to get into crypto. This is completely wrong. This is actually the best time to get into it, because now you have the time to kind of relax, to think very good, to really research the projects that you're getting into and etc. And, some people that are concerned about, crypto prices are going down and crypto world is going to disappear. There's still a lot of investments. Actually, there's VCs investing into digital assets. This is Q1, but this year has been the major investment of almost any VCs. And we're seeing a lot of VCs from actually traditional finances. We're seeing a lot of Web2 brands like Samsung, Huawei, and, different brands that are actually investing in crypto, even though we're in the bear market. So what this comes to tell you is that, it's not going to stay here, right? It's just transformation. And now that all the brands and all the major traditional players are seeing the huge impact that crypto has and all the tools that it has, then they're coming in. So that's why you need to be very smart about how you're doing and stuff like that. And so people need to be aware about all the tools that are available out there. There's a lot of lending protocols, staking, etc. So crypto is not just about buying and selling, which you can be very strategic, right? But right now, there's a lot of different opportunities. So for example, at Gate, we do have HODL and Earn, right? where you can actually hodl your assets and receive APY right back at you. Now, some people are scared of this because of the Luna situation. You know, how can you not risk your assets when it's dropping down and you fall for it? But the good thing about the ones that we have at Gate is that our times are very short term. So we have 7 days, we have 14 days, and we even do have flexible term days where you can actually get to choose how many days you want to stake. And that way you are in control of your own finances. And we're not the only ones that have this. There's a lot of platforms that have this. So you definitely can go into it. Now, what's important here is to check the projects, right? Check many projects that are going to be startups are, for example, AlphaGuilty is hosting new projects that are coming up. And then this projects might be able to get into this too, right? So you need to be very careful about which project you're putting in your money. But this is the good thing about the bear market. You can actually take your time to research the project and make sure that you know which kind of project you're putting into, right? When Gate, you know, investing allows you to draw your money wherever you want. And we have single and flexible staking. So we have 2 products actually where you can choose how many days you want to do it so that you're not risking your assets. There's also a lot of lending protocols. There's also a lot of lending tools. So for example, at Gate, we have our lending platform. So basically, if you're just holding onto your USDT because you're very conservative, you don't want to invest right now, just want to keep it there, then you just lend it out for people that do want to invest. And you're not only given the opportunity for somebody that maybe doesn't have the liquidity right now, but you're also getting an interest back in your money. So you're basically not losing anything, you're just lending it and getting a return. If you're going to have it there, you might as well have it moving, right? And then we actually have more than 30 crypto assets to lend, and we'll be adding more as we go, but you can actually choose which one you want to lend. So the one that you're not using, you can just go for it. There's also liquidity mining, right? So this is also a very common thing in many platforms. And basically you just earn income fees for providing dual assets liquidity. Most of the platforms will make it really easy for you. Again, Gate, we try to make it super easy for you. So you just choose your pair that you want to have liquidity. And then at that point, we will automatically deduct the funds and convert them so that you can add liquidity and then you can get your APR back. So you're just basically adding liquidity, helping exchanges and different platforms have liquidity so that also people who are actually trading can have the orders fill out a little bit faster. So you're contributing to the ecosystem. And again, you're not risking anything. You're pretty much just supporting liquidity, right? And you can actually check out, you know, the historical yield to make sure that this is a smart choice for you. You know, how much it has been yield before, how much you can make out of it. And yeah, it's pretty, like I said, it's pretty simple. You just choose what size to put it in, and that's pretty much it. And then there's also a lot of cloud mining services now. You know, with everything that's been going on with Bitcoin, etc. A lot of Ethereum also with the merge, they're changing to like Bitcoin mining too. So now you see a lot more cloud mining services, and you can actually just pretty much rent out your own mining facility without you having to actually buy the hardware, etc. So this is a very cool option too. So you know, and Gate, it actually goes really fast. So you can find a Gate, you can find it on other platforms too, but you basically just rent out your mining services and then you get a return out of it. So you basically just put in the money and you don't have to worry about hardware. You don't have to worry about anything. It's how you get 100% out of the hash rate. You're just pretty much renting it out. So you keep all of the hash rate for you. It's very low threshold. And you can actually have multiple contracts of mining because we make that for you. And of course, there's a guaranteed runtime. So you don't have to be worried about, you know, electricity or running fees or whatever. And then finally, there's also P2P commerce, which is very common. You know, a lot of people, what they do is they buy low and then they sell a little bit higher in the P2P. So you buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. So this is also another strategy that people can use. And this could be used for many tokens. If you go to Gate, you'll see many tokens to do it, but you can also utilize it for everything. And the best part is also these startups also, these are going to be the ones, you know, right now, I think we're seeing a switch from what used to be, I like to call it like a cleanse, a crypto cleanse. So every project that didn't survive right now, the bear market, probably wasn't a good project. The projects that are coming up right now or that they survived the bear market, those are the ones that you want to be looking at. So you definitely want to stay pending for the new startups coming in, because if they're getting funding, that means that they have something good. So look into them, make sure you're checking what new startups are coming up, investigate them. They might be a very good opportunity for you to come in, because like I mentioned, there's a lot of Web2, there's a lot of big players of the traditional markets, whether it's financial, technical, or even just your average clothing brands. A lot of them are looking into Web3 right now. And a lot of them are looking for the startup projects to be their partners and their service providers. So if you are in the first ones that you're getting into that first startup, into that first project when the first launches, then you're probably going to be in for a very good ride. So definitely, I just wanted to share a little bit about, you know, the market strategies that you don't necessarily have to just buy and sell. Right now, it gives you a chance to kind of stop, think about it, maybe invest a little bit more in infra, because that's probably what's going to come up. Everybody's looking for good infra products. So yeah, just keep an eye and don't be scared. You know, people are scared to invest right now. They want to wait until things go up. That's probably not a good idea, because then everybody's buying, right? They always say buy the rumors, sell the news. So I think this really definitely applies at this time of moment in crypto. So yeah, that's basically what I want to share right now.
Thank you so much, Mariela. And if I may, because you actually really got me interested, can I ask for your presentation? Because I would like to be frank, I still haven't been myself a customer at Gate.io, although I have a couple of acquaintances who are working at your exchange, and I would love to have a look at your presentation in more detail. This is one thing. And additional, I really appreciate what you said earlier. Just quick question: when you actually said about when you discussed like everybody's right now discussing what is going to happen with Ethereum, and everybody expecting for the merge and everything, which is like about to happen in 1 week. But here's what's interesting. Nobody actually thought, like I just recently thought this from the perspective of miners who are mining Ethereum earlier. So I'm just like curious, how from your perspective, how do you think that this is like going to like influence them? Because you actually you made a really good point about the cloud mining and like the options that there are different types of services whenever you can kind of rent out the mining services and pay for that, and like for the mine cryptocurrency. But in case with Ethereum, have you like spoke to them like about that or not?
Yeah, I've actually been checking with a lot of groups too, you know, what kind of their plans are. A lot of them will try to reuse their hardware for different applications. So there's also this new movement of like machine connecting to the Web3. So a lot of them will try to migrate into that, try to find new use cases for their mining products, to kind of generate, to still interact with smart contracts somehow, and get that. But yeah, I think right now it's just a phase of you know, changing flexibility. A lot of them are also moving to Bitcoin mining for a little bit, but there's such a little share that they're still considering it. So I definitely think this, at least for the original miners, it's definitely going to have an impact, but I think it's going to bring a lot of innovation. I think a lot of them are thinking, okay, now what do I do with this hardware? And, you know, they're probably going to be able to connect it to various different projects or various different things. They probably might migrate to EVM compatible chains that are working something interesting more with devices. But yeah, I think they saw it coming. You know, it's not something like it's, oh, out of the blue, the Ethereum merge came. So I think they probably changed a little bit on strategies a while ago. And there's some very innovative people. I think that's what I love about blockchain. There's very smart, innovative people just trying to figure out how to rework things. So I think we'll see a very different, interesting projects coming out of this, definitely.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. And moreover, like you as an exchange, you will definitely be aware of that, because I'm sure that a lot of projects will be willing to get listed as well at Gate.io. I actually, one of the things which for me is really interesting as a journalist as well is to follow some of the let's say history moments in the like how in the crypto industry, how it was evolving, and how I actually heard the story how one of my very good acquaintances, he met the founder of Gate.io in Hong Kong, and it was back in 2015 if I'm not mistaken, or even 13. So how actually it was like going on. So what I'm trying to say, you actually, so crypto exchanges also, the ones which are one of the first ones, they also been following how this cycle is actually repeating itself. And taking into account like this cycle, everybody is talking, this is different from the previous one, which happened like 2.5 years ago, if I'm not like approximately. So from your perspective, how Gate.io specifically is like living through this process, like cycle, and how are you, as you said, nobody knows when the bull market will start. How are you actually applying some of the new strategies to really like get on board maybe new clients and get on board as well new customers?
Well, to be honest, for us, we love it. I'm not gonna say, but we love bear market. Why? Because when it's bull market, we don't stop. Right?
Interesting.
Yeah. It's kind of hard. I mean, obviously, you know, for revenues, etc., it does affect all of us a little bit, but that doesn't mean that we can still be creative. So we love the bear market because it allows us to create new strategies, to plan, to structure, to make sure that all the bases are very well made so that when the next bull run comes, we're ready to go all in, right? So for us, it's a time of innovation, of presenting new products, of creating new tools and getting to new markets. So we're actually quite excited. You know, it gives us a time to stop and kind of think through our strategy very smart. And as far as projects, like I mentioned, there's still a lot of very good projects coming in. We do get a huge influx of projects daily trying to list at Gate, but we are definitely focused a little bit more on good infra products. You know, we are very careful about what projects we bring to our community, because we don't want to bring them any random project that they're going to lose money on it, or any scammy project. So we are careful about seeing, but I think we're seeing a little bit more of infra projects that are focusing more on the core development of technology, and not like just, you know, creating community or creating this, you know, Gamify has still maintain its position. So we are seeing that a lot too. But yeah, for us, it's definitely something, because like I said, projects that have good infra, we are prepared for this. We know that the cycle is coming, so we always prepare for this type of cycle. So I think at this point, it's just about innovation. Every company right now, when it's bear market, what you need to do is innovate and find different products to offer different services. So like the ones that I mentioned, right? We want to make sure that people still have options, that they don't think it's just buying and selling and that's it. But they actually understand the infra and the whole possibilities that they can build in. We actually have also projects building on Gate chain. So we have our own chain. We have projects building on Gate chain, developing there too at this moment. So we're able to provide them a little bit more time to kind of incubate them and help them out. So that also helps us, you know, dedicate a little bit more time for the things that really matter, so that we're not having to rush for things. So yeah, for us, we like it. It's a little bit more of a stop, strategize, and think things well to make things a little bit better as far as product and offerings.
Understood. Thank you, Mariela. Just additional quick question regarding Gate.io. As we discussed, and as you mentioned earlier as well, do you see already that more and more gamify projects like are trying to get listed on, particularly on your exchange, and we're going to see more and more new metaverse gamify projects as well?
Definitely.
This is like the new cycle, let's say, of new hype after the NFTs, and right now it's because everybody is discussing this. So I'm really curious, like whenever you see like the new list of projects which want to get onboarded on Gate.io and get listed on Gate.io, is it like a big chunk of gamify project?
Yeah, we are seeing, well, both gamify and metaverse, because it could really depend. Some metaverses are really not gamify, so it's very interesting. There's all sorts of metaverse. We're definitely seeing a lot more of that part. So yeah, I would say yes, there's some very interesting ones. There's even one that wants to connect all metaverses together, so where you actually have your avatar all around the metaverse. So there's very innovative things. But yeah, definitely I see the trend of metaverse coming in a little bit stronger.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mariela. And without further ado, I would actually ask you to stay with us because and additionally I would like to ask Mikhailo and Leon to join our discussion, because we are moving forward right away to our Q&A session. And guys, I actually have for you like a list of questions which we received earlier from our audience. And like right now, a lot of things, I'm sure that a lot of insights our audience got. Before we'll go to Q&A session, please, whenever you watch us on YouTube, please like us and definitely subscribe, because in the future you'll be notified about new upcoming meetups, and I'm sure that there will be plenty of very interesting ones in the future as well. But also right now, let's discuss because I'll tell you, like, honestly, Marielle as well, Mikhailo and Leon, people are having like these doubts, like not exactly doubts, but especially if we're talking about, like, let's say newbies, somebody who is really just entering the space. And sometimes, like, whenever you don't know about these cycles, you don't know how this is going. For example, you just entered a couple of months ago before the crash, let's say it like this. And people are sometimes like, are getting a bit scary about, like, they don't know exactly when this is going to end and where everybody will be in green and etc. So like a lot of people who are not really so experienced, they suffer from the losses. What are you suggesting for beginners who would like to jump into crypto, but they're just dipping their toes in the water and they don't want to make a lot of losses right now? What is the best strategy for them to use for those who just started or just started a couple of months ago before the crash? Anybody who would like to start, whenever everybody would like, may answer this, but I would like specifically ask all of you to answer. So who'd like to start?
Sure, I don't mind. So I think actually a lot of my friends that have not yet touched crypto have been asking about how to get in and what's the best way to get started. And usually those questions come during the peak of the bull market. So usually I tell them, when you're asking this, you shouldn't come in. So yeah, those are pretty good top signals.
But
actually.
Right now is the good time, yeah?
Now's the good time is when no one cares, right? First of all. And I mean, I don't want to say no financial advice again, but it isn't. So I think the best way to get started, regardless of which part of the cycle we're in, is to actually get educated on what you're investing into, right? Especially if you're buying small cap tokens, you want to know the tokenomics, and sometimes those are quite complicated for a newbie. So for newbies, I would actually recommend looking into the major ones, like just look at CoinMarketCap top 10 coins or tokens, and really look into what the technology is, why they exist, like why do we need Solana coins for proof of stake on their blockchain? Or what does it mean when Bitcoin have 21 million supply? So that's number one. And number two is do not all in. Always be very careful with your finances. I mean, a lot of my friends, myself included, have made life-changing losses, right? Before you can actually make any gains. So dollar cost averaging is your best friend. Like what that means is you want to space out your investments across a very long period of time. And I think some statistics have shown that if you just invest, instead of one big investment, you split that out into one investment per week for a whole year, it's a lot more profitable than if you were just trying to time the market. Because it doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter if you're Sam Bankman-Fried, you cannot time the market perfectly. So doing it across a long period of time, even if greed is trying to get the best of you and be like, this is it, like this is how I'm gonna get that Rolex, right? Don't do it. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. By the way, how do you feel about this strategy? I forgot, but I was reading like the very different ones. So there was a lady who like made a kind of, but she was like focused on Bitcoin, like specifically, is like, and she was made a promise to herself, whatever happens, every week she invests, like on this day, like on Monday, each Monday she invests like specific amount of money into Bitcoin. And I heard like, and of course it was like this, she kind of started like from the, let's say not very beginning, but a couple of years ago. And it was quite for her, even during bear market, it was beneficial. So what kind of strategy in this case, like, I'm not saying, again, this is not financial advice. I'm sure that you can repeat that. But if somebody would like to start that, do you think would it be the right choice or not? Or something
for me
similar?
As well?
Sorry?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Leon. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's quite an advisable strategy to start with. You don't want to invest your life savings. Like if you're making a decent salary every month, you're just putting in a disposable amount of your salary, and you're still able to pay your rent, put food on the table, putting away a few percent every month to invest into different things. Definitely diversify. I think that's a very safe. It might sound boring, but it's a very decent strategy.
Thank you. Mikhailo, what's your views on this? Especially, I'm sure that especially you coming from like in the past from traditional finance, TradFi into DeFi, you might have a lot of friends who are like thinking about this as well, how they should like try out and maybe they should invest in digital assets.
Yeah, so first of all, I totally agree with Leon. It's I wouldn't add anything else besides that. Like he said perfectly what one should do now. First of all, educate yourself, and then second of all, like take a look at the major ones and dollar cost averaging. Yet is probably the best advice for newcomers. Regarding the TradFi, actually, I'm talking to I do have the friends from like venture capital, like on the startups side as well, who are the finance guys on the startups. They are like even Series A rounds in the proper healthcare startup got canceled recently because there is a huge downturn, not only in crypto, but overall in the economy. And funds do not invest much, not only in crypto, but in TradFi as well. So this is the moment when you, as Mariella said as well, try to find the projects that is really there for a long time, that is building even under these circumstances, and invest the amount you are willing to lose, you can afford to lose, I'd say. And and TradFi is the same. I mean, the principles with cross industries are the same. I wouldn't say that the blockchain industry is any different from like healthcare industry or automotive industry. It's the same principles, same startups, same approaches to the market, all that stuff, and even failure rates are the same. So yeah, I don't have anything anything else to add besides like what Leon said. I think it's the perfect advice.
Yeah, thank you, Mikhailo. The same question to Mariella, but before we'll jump to it, just quick question again to you, Leon and Mikhailo. But I like from my experience, what I've noticed like during these years that some of the projects which were on top, when you said like it's better to have a look at the top 10, but even like on top 10 there are like some of the stable coins, let's say it like this, or even if you have a look at some of the upcoming very already famous projects, they might be even not even in 100 top 100, they might be 100, I don't know, 43 or something like this, but they're already, everybody's talking about them. So you definitely need to do your definitely one of the things you definitely need to invest in your education. So invest, I mean, not specifically money, because you can actually find a lot of information for free on the internet. But at the same time, how you can actually, there's so many information, how to really sort it out and understand that, oh, okay, this might be not in top 10, but this is definitely a project which might be like brings value to me, for example, and I can see the value in this. So what's your views on this?
Yeah, in terms of resources from which you can take information, I would say the best way to like sort them out and read them is to ask like a friend or whoever you trust within the space to recommend you one. So I would go with that. So if you have within your network some crypto guy who actually made some profits in crypto, then I would ask him for a proper resources where to take like the information. And regarding the coin that is not like on the top but still interested to yourself, to somebody, it's still valid story, I mean, and you have to just do your own research, get to know somebody if it's possible on the team, and if everything checks out, yeah, I wouldn't mind investing there as well. But you have to do your own research and be careful and be confident in your investment.
Yeah, thank you, Mikhailo. Mariella, what's your use in this case whenever somebody like you're having maybe potentially like new clients who are very, very new to crypto, and like whenever they're looking at the different like coins which are listed on gate.io, for example, like do you like, it's again not a financial advice, but what exactly they can do, well, of course, apart from learning about these projects and how they should, like in this case, what kind of strategy they should better use?
Yeah, definitely. Again, yeah, not financial advice, very important thing to mention. But I have to agree, yeah, with what Mikhailo and Leon said about, don't put money that you're gonna have to use, think of it that you're gonna lose the money, at least at the beginning. So that's where you learn. There's also a lot of free testing and a lot of exchanges and platform. Like for example, in Gate, if you sign up and you do your KYC, you get $100 USD test for you to try out trading. So also take advantage of all this free things, like you mentioned, a lot of free courses. The University of Nicosia has a free course on blockchain. So make sure that first you understand the technology. I think that's the first step. You understand how it works, you understand the technology, because then you're going to evaluate the project as I would, and this is personal advice. This is not referring any relationship with Gate, but this is my personal advice. I would focus on three things, right? One is the usability of the product, right? Is this project creating a product that could actually be used in the market, that is needed in the market? So, that'll be the first thing to check out. Two, how much supply is there in it? People always forget about this, but this is kind of, we go back to the Shiba Inu kind of thing. Shiba Inu had a limited supply. So you always have to think about demand supply, right? As any economic product, we're still an economic product on base. So demand and supply, does it have a limited supply? And if it does have a limited supply, how much is it? Is there enough demand for this to have a healthy movement in the market and have a healthy price? I think that will be the second one. And the third one, which is very important and many people always forget, and I even had to say to projects that have an excellent product, they have excellent tokenomics, they have an excellent thing, but they don't have a community. So it really doesn't matter if you have the best product in the world if you don't have anyone to use it. So it's very important that you also check that the project that you're getting into, it has a very strong community, has faithful community, they're active on Twitter, Discord, any other channels that they might be active, right? This is very important for you to check. So I would say those three main points would be things to watch, and also the team members, right? Are these people capable, especially if they're not in beta phase or their product hasn't launched yet? Make sure that the team that's behind it, it's capable of developing what they say they're going to develop, right? Have they done this before? Are they newbies, etc.? Those are all things to look for when you're investing in a coin and investing in a project. So yeah, I would say overall, make sure you also double cross-check your sources. I have a lot of people who, oh, my friend told me this was amazing and I put in money, and I'm like, don't do that, right? You always, even though it's your best friend and he's telling you he made a lot of money, this could be a lucky strike. Don't just go for that. Make sure you Google the project, you understand the project, and that you make a decision for yourself. Not even what I say could impact you. Maybe I'm saying something and then tomorrow it all changes. So you need to be very aware, and especially be very aware of the news, because just like top projects can be the hype today, they can really fall down in a second. So my best recommendation is always to stay dependent on news. My daily routine is every day I wake up and I check the news on the market. So so I know what exactly is going on. And I think anyone who has money in the crypto market should do this. So yeah, in overall, those would be my advices.
No, I definitely support everything what you're saying, especially when you said, like, as we could see, like throughout the last couple of months, even like solid projects, like with the founders who have like great history in building companies, they may somehow suffer like great losses. So like, and moreover, whenever you're saying about the friends who invested, you know, I actually recently caught myself on a thought that, for example, I know a couple of quite famous crypto bloggers, and the thing is, they made their millions, sometimes somebody even billions. But the thing is, which kind of got me really a bit, I would say, puzzled, when I actually analyzed that sometimes, and they say that they have a huge team which does the due diligence of the project. But the thing is that later on, they sometimes advertise on their YouTube channels some points, which later on I'm even questioning why, for example, they do this. Because even like, I'm a journalist, I might be not even the, let's say, blockchain analyst, although I'm doing my analysis and I'm doing as well a lot of research. But I might be not as technical, but I still understand that there is no point and no use case of this project. So what I'm trying to say here, that occasionally I'm meeting that you don't exactly have to trust even famous bloggers in crypto, because they're earning their money on advertising, sometimes, as they call it. Sorry for my French, shit coins, but everybody knows about this. So how should you, in this case, kind of like protect yourself, especially when you're a newbie? How, like, if you trust a YouTube blogger, but then, I mean, I was really puzzled about this. How to help those people? I mean, it's really tricky, like from my perspective, what I saw. Yeah. So this is one thing.
Yeah, I would say never.
But anyway, if you have,
sorry, just mention, never trust a YouTuber, double check them. Whatever they say, make sure you double check what they're saying. That would be my first and most advice.
Guys, next question that was, I understand, again, this is, you cannot predict it, but still we have this from our audience, and I would love you to comment on this, and whenever you have this feeling. So do you have this feeling that the crypto has already reached its bottom in terms of the pricing, or there might be even like the prices going lower, especially when everybody's talking about Bitcoin, and the bull market will finally show itself in the next few months? The question that we got from the audience. So to be honest and to be frank, I heard very different stories whenever this cycle will end and the next will start. And again, without giving particular forecast, but what do you expect from the market in the next few months to come? Leon.
I think it's gone. Except the
Okay, maybe he will, but let me double check. Mikhailo, in that case, are you here with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't think that the bull market will come within the next few months. I think vice versa, it's gonna dip even more with this empty COX Bitcoin release, all that stuff. I mean, Ethereum probably not gonna dip that much because of this merge and all the stuff. But in terms of the overall market, and Ethereum will join the bear market later, I think the Bitcoin will drop even like to 10, 12K. So of course not a financial advice. I used to
I heard about this.
Yeah, but
I heard about this.
I still think so, because I think it's not the end of the bear market for sure. And it's overall in the economy, we are getting into the downturn of the overall economy, and I don't see why cryptocurrency should perform otherwise.
So okay,
probably
Mikhailo,
next few years, yes, but not months.
Okay, so Mariela, Mikhailo, and Leon is still with us, but I'm sure that I'm hoping that he will hear me, and because I'll tell you like few from my acquaintances who are analyzing like 3 options how it may develop. So you can actually either like agree on some of them or not. So one of them, what I heard is that the most bearish one is whenever the winter will end, the upcoming winter, So then the crypto winter will end. So we may expect the bull market starting only in spring of next year. This is one thing. This is the most bearish. The other one, which I heard on the country, by the end of this year, the crypto market will end, and we may expect the bull market during like starting from January. And the third one, which is probably the most optimistic, but these are probably from people who are listening and who are expecting this merge with Ethereum. So they are really expecting that the price of Ethereum will go up. At the same time, like it will somehow influence the Bitcoin price in a good way. So I heard like these three predictions. So what are your views on this case? And by the way, it's really interesting. I heard about Michaelo that it might go as well, like lower than it's already less. It was how it is today. It was yesterday already less than 20,000. Yeah, today it's less than 19,000.
Yeah. But I think the most pessimistic option is the most optimistic in my opinion. So yeah, we'll see.
I see. Mariela.
I think we need to consider the whole world's economy, right? We cannot divide crypto from what's actually going on. The Feds, the recessions is coming in, the euro going down. So I definitely think it'll go longer according to this whole thing. Also, you know, regulations is really coming at everyone really hard. So I think while this stabilizes, while the regulators kind of figure out how to regulate crypto without really interfering with innovation and growth, I think we're still gonna be in it for a little bit longer. I don't think the Ethereum merge will have enough impact to really revive the market. And at the end of the day, we have to think it's the market, it's a mass strategy, you know, and you see also the big players, MicroStrategy undergoing legal issues. So they're obviously not going to make big moves right now. And, you know, everyone's just being very cautious right now. So I definitely think it'll go longer. You know, in general, January tends to be a good month. So I wouldn't say maybe it's not possible, but I at this point, I think it depends on how the whole world's economy develops throughout this last part of the year through Q4. I think that's going to be very determinant on whether the crypto winter will end sooner rather than later. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Okay, understood. So what is, by the way, right now, let's talk about specifically, because we touched upon the topic of NFTs quite a lot of times, and this is also very important. But as far as, again, we have a lot of people who are just like starting being the crypto enthusiasts, let's call it like this. They're just starting their journey in the ecosystem. What do you think will be the major and the biggest benefit that an individual can have through NFTs in general? Leon, I think you're still with us, if I'm not mistaken.
I am. Okay, that was for me. I didn't know.
Yeah, so no, actually, this question is for everyone. I will have one specifically for you, but just a bit later.
Okay, cool.
So, but you can start.
Right. So how will NFT benefit individuals? I think the world outside of crypto is still trying to understand what NFTs are and what their, what the benefits is. For example, I see a lot of restaurants trying to like create their own NFT collections and hoping that it's going to do what Bored Ape did, right? And I think there's a lot of disconnect between how people see NFTs, like, oh, NFT is a lot of money, right? But it's actually much more complicated than that. And the people that are actually buying NFTs now, I would say over 90% of the trading volume are by these moon boys and NFT degens, not necessarily consumers that are buying it because of a product or something, right? So I think a lot of brands, like even the bigger ones that has a bit more understanding, still has not yet figured out like where's the NFT position within the real consumer market. So I think in the short term, we're not going to see that answer just yet. But over the long term, I think NFT is just going to become another tool. It's kind of like people are saying, oh, NFT is decentralization, it's Web3, all that stuff. But really what they want is 10x, right? You don't see us going like, I'm so bullish on HTTP, I'm so bullish on broadband internet, right? Like those became the background tool that made real solutions possible. And I think what crypto and NFT eventually will become is exactly that, a background tool that makes things even better for the industries and businesses.
By the way, you actually made a great point, and I'll tell you why, because it reminded me of some people that I know that whenever I hear that so I'm asking someone, what do you do? And when I hear that a person is earning his is having his income through buying and selling NFTs only, how do you think? It's quite questionable, I would say. Like whenever, so you kind of, it's very good that you actually, maybe in this case, you like earning on the hype, but how smart is that for a long perspective? This is one thing, but this is specifically for you, Leon, question. And can you please additionally also dwell, I'll continue with the other question next in a minute.
Okay. I think, let me try to rephrase your question. It's how do you position NFT in your investment portfolio, which makes you not, makes you a bit more smart. So I have a advisor in our team who at one point had 80% of his net worth in Mutant Ape Yacht Club. And I was
Which
like,
one?
hey man,
sorry,
Mutant Ape, MAYC.
Okay, understood.
And I mean, sure, at the time, at the end, he made the right choice, and in hindsight, everything's 2020. So like, sure, kudos to you. But I wouldn't say that's a smart thing to do. I mean, if you're listening, by the way, like good job. But I think NFT is even more volatile than a lot of these other cryptos. And when you're in a sort of mass sell situation, it's really, the liquidity is very weak, right? Like you have to keep listing your NFT at a lower floor, waiting for someone to take that order. And it's a disaster if you hold a lot of NFT and you want to get out quick, right? Especially if you're holding larger amounts. For example, there was a time when I had this Bored Ape, which is at the time valued at maybe 140 ETH, and I thought, okay, this must be easy to sell, right? Like it's a good thing, but it's actually not. Like there's not that many people with the appetite to buy really expensive NFTs. So I would really reconsider NFT as a big, like NFT, I don't think personally should not be a big portion of your investment portfolio, but it's fun. It's something cool. But I wouldn't say you should put a large amount of it in your portfolio.
Yeah, sure. So are you more bullish still on the utility NFTs in the future? As you said this, and you mentioned this earlier.
Yeah, I'm bullish on the use case. I think more and more NFT will penetrate the market. But bullish in the market cap sense of NFT in proportion to the entire crypto market, then I'm not too sure if that made sense at all.
By the way, when you mentioned about your friend who's doing this analysis, I'm really curious to learn from him how he does this analysis in the NFTs. Can you share some tips from him?
Okay, I mean, at the time during the bull market, when you're looking at NFTs, which ones to buy, you don't want to buy the ones that everyone is already talking about, right? And you also you want to look at the roadmap and look at how successful they were in delivering the previous roadmaps. So if you see a Gen 1 NFT launch and they say they're going to do this and that, and they did it, and they want to do Gen 2, it's more likely that Gen 2 will be a lasting collection. But then there's a lot of projects now that they're just basically trying to mint out the first gen, and then they just kind of like slowly disappear. So I think valuing the team is probably one of the things I would really look into. Obviously as well, Yuga Lab is just a GOAT right now, right? Like they are backed by Animoca. They raised in billions of dollars of valuation. They're planning to make a game. We already saw some footage. So I think the investment thesis there is a bit easier to make comparing to looking at a new mint. A lot of the times it's a hit and miss, and you just got to spray and hope for the best.
Thank you, Leon. And just additional questions regarding that. You mentioned that there are more and more, in this case, wallets, which we're talking about, hardware wallets that where you can hold NFTs. Can you name for the benefit of our audience which ones already provide this option that you can send to?
I think
NFTs.
On EVM chains, personally, I would still go for MetaMask. I would personally not go for a new wallet that just launched, right? Because with any new technology, there can always be flaws. I don't think people can nail a tech in the first version, right? That goes the same with the wallets in Solana ecosystem, which right now the biggest is Phantom Wallet, but something else that's up and coming might be Glow. But if you look at the amount of wallets existing in Solana ecosystem, there's like probably more than 20, right? And most of them, people don't use it because of various reasons, whether it's user experience, whether it's supporting of 3D assets, maybe it's grouping NFTs as a collection within the wallet, or maybe there's a chat function. There's just many things you want to pick from. And if you value security the best, I would go for the one with the most users.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Leon. Right now, the next question I would address to Mariela, because we actually spoke about that whenever we're talking about the new projects like Gate.io in this case, they also should make sure that this one is actually a valid and solid one and has a good reputation. And actually, Lynn, earlier, she mentioned that they're doing like checking the team of the project and with which they want to partner. So my question would be, right now, everybody's talking that the team, like the company should have a docs team. Apart from using LinkedIn and Twitter, like what are the ways, how do you make sure that a project has a so-called docs team?
Well, we do have a whole research department, so they have their strategies, which I cannot disclose, but because obviously then we would give the chance.
Just a bit.
Yeah, but I will say it gets to a point where you've seen so many projects, so many people in the industry that it's quite easy to kind of have that feeling of, okay, this is a good team or not a good team. It's just, you come to a point where it kind of comes naturally. You kind of get a sense of talking with the team, the way they talk, the way they express about the experiences. You kind of ask around, I think, well, right now it has grown a lot, but before I used to remember everyone in blockchain knew each other, right? But that's still kind of the case, you probably just are
It's still the case.
Yeah. So you ask around, and if nobody has heard of them, then that's like a red flag. So yeah, there's various ways to do it. But yeah, you will notice it by that's why we also have the calls with the teams, because we notice, we kind of get the sense when we talk to them, okay, do they talk technically right? You get to a point where if they're not very savvy enough, they won't be able to explain things to you in that sense. So yeah, there's a whole lot of ways to do it. There's new search, etc. But yeah, I cannot disclose a lot of that. But yeah, we do have a very thorough system to get through it. But I think the most important part is just the networks we develop, that we pretty much all know each other, and a lot of the projects actually come referred from other people. So that's like the first filter that might help us. Because obviously, if a project is reaching directly, it won't have as much impact as a project that's being referred by a partner that we already trust. So that's another thing that we also take into account.
By the way, thank you, Mariela. And I'll comment on this because I'm based right now in Dubai, and I can tell you that what I observed like throughout the last year. So because Dubai opened up and a lot of businesses came here, like throughout this process, I learned you have to be quite careful with some of them. Fortunately, because of the new regulations are upcoming with VARA and the other regulator, some of them already are fleeing Dubai because they see that there will be not so much developments for them, like positive, if we're talking about scam projects. But also, as you said, whenever I'm learning, I'm making like analysis, whether like already the people that I know in the ecosystem, they know this project. If it's a new one, how can I make sure if, for example, if it's not like somebody who yesterday didn't know about crypto, right now he's the so-called CEO of a new crypto project, which is weird if somebody was not like dealing with the technology at all. So this is also very, very important things to do. Thank you, Mariela. An additional question about this, as you said, like some of the things you cannot disclose, but also whenever you're listing new projects, and not everybody of them can invest too much into their in the security of their protocols. So how you also are making sure, if it's not indicated on the website, that, for example, this protocol doesn't have considerable vulnerabilities, and this DeFi project, let's say, so it's more or less secure. Let's say it like this, because it's also very important.
Yeah, again, I cannot disclose that much, but I can tell you that at least we do require a security audit for every project that we list from a third party. So that gives us a little bit of things. This can have some flaws too. So actually our exchange has been based on a very strong technical team from the founders. They're very technical oriented. So we do have a very good department of technical people that they're also being aware of all these implications. They do also a technical analysis of the projects before we list them, how we connect it, also the kind of permissions that they have, so that they don't have fully permission to, like, how do I say this in a nice way, to not like abuse their power over their users under some technical thing that they intentionally made into their project. So we also do that analysis.
Understood. Thank you, Mariela. Next question is particularly to Mikhailo. How will AlphaGuilty use marketing to attract investors and ensure they have many advantages compared to other projects?
Yeah, regarding marketing, it's an interesting question because it's always an art to build a community and to bring people into your community. We have in our team data scientist from Parimatch. It's one of the biggest betting companies in CIS region, and he has like developed kind of algorithms that lets us to onboard competitors community actually. So we utilize an algorithms that analyzes more than 5 million connections on Twitter, and we actually can based on the competitors community, because this is the most relevant community to us, right? And we can do it to any other of the projects. If say some GameFi project, like some game comes to us and we ask for the competitors, we can actually give them a list of an influencers to target who are the influencers in their communities, in the competitors communities, but to whom we can reach within our own community. So we have some people in our community that have a direct impact on those influencers that have the influence on competitors community. So this way we actually can onboard most relevant audience and most relevant people, and we will apply it to our project, and as well will help with the marketing for portfolio companies that are launching on our Launchpad with this, but it's more of a kind of data science techniques. So we will be utilizing those, and the regular marketing, I mean, also is used, like social media marketing, all the stuff, beautiful pictures, and all the things that keep audience engaged. But the biggest bet, I think, is on these data science tweaks that we utilize.
Okay, thank you, Mikhailo. So this is on the marketing side, and this will be my last question to you. But if you can, everyone, list 3 killer features of your project that makes you stay ahead of the rivals. Like just quick question in 3 sentences from each of you. Mikhailo.
Okay, so first is a business model that lets the most relevant investors to participate. The second is technical infrastructure that let us launch any of the blockchain asset, like an NFT, token, a diversified package, so wrapped NFT with other tokens on multi-chain. And the third one is our marketing approaches at the
marketing tools. Thank you, Mariela.
Yeah, sorry, it cut out a little bit there. You said 3 things about strength of our project.
Yes, like the key 3 killer features which makes you like unique as Gate.io.
Yeah, so first one, it's security. We actually have very high security standards, and we've been one of the few exchanges that hasn't been hacked. 2, our customer service. There's a lot of exchanges and platforms that you'll write and you'll never get an answer. It'll take weeks or whatever. With Gate, we try to be very good with our customer service, try to get an answer 24 to 48 hours, if not sooner, to you. And number 3, innovation. We're always trying to innovate with new products for you to not only trade, but you can actually connect different things. We actually just launched our mini app, so you can actually connect to other apps through our Gate website without having to double log in to anywhere else. And oh, by the way, we have a promotion with Travala where we're giving away $25 in credits for Travala. So if you guys want to go and check it out and book a trip with crypto, you can go ahead and do it.
Amazing. Thank you. And Leon.
Okay, just to be specific then, we've built a cross-chain messaging service that any D app can integrate and anyone can talk to anyone on different chain or different apps. It's already being launched right now. We're partnering with Bonfida and also Notify Network as the main dev, and then we have about 30 projects onboarded this already, but integration is still happening. Second, we have a Launchpad, which technologically speaking, it could be superior in the sense that we built our own on-chain lottery system where we could have used Chainlink, but we decided to build it ourselves. It's on Solana because Chainlink back then did not support Solana. And our Launchpad is also 100% bot proof. Third thing is we have a tool that allows anyone to create their own member pass NFTs and post gated content on the platform within minutes and for free. But this is going to come out next month.
Thank you, Leon. And I really appreciate everyone who has joined us today. I also want to say thank you because they had to leave us earlier. Ling Nguyen from Rosion World. I also want to say thank you to Berker Zor from Babylons. I really appreciate you guys that you stayed with us for our Q&A session. Mariela Tanches, Global Head of Business Development at Gate.io. Leon Lee, founder and CEO of Only One App, and the CEO of AlphaGuilty, Mihailo Sitalo. I'm really appreciate that you've been here, guys, because I'm sure that you got a lot of insights. Please also share in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and like our video. Thank you for joining our DeFi investment and go-to-market strategies on a bear market online meetup organized by AlphaGuilty, which is a pay-for-allocation multi-chain launcher with sophisticated mechanism based on the proof of allocation method. Applying for pre-sales has never been so easy. No lottery, no whitelist, no Gleam, just plain allocations based on tiers. Thank you so much for having me as well. I'm Maria Wolfchuk. I'm your host today, ambassador at Blockchain Association of Ukraine, and right now I'm based in Dubai. Whenever you're planning to come for our, by the way, for our blockchain conferences in Dubai, this year, I'll tell you, it starts from September, ends in December. We're going to have like amazing events as well next year as well. You can definitely find me on LinkedIn as well and ask me about blockchain conferences in Dubai. Thank you for everyone who has joined us today. I'm sure that AlphaGuilty will organize similar meetups in the future where you can also get your insight. Thank you so much and see you soon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Окей, все? Все, тогда спасибо большое. Можно отключаться, да? Алло?
Are we live?
I don't think so. I'm so sorry, guys. If you are not live, then see you and thank you for
Thank you. See you soon.